All right, episode 53. We got Green Lantern, we got Sacrificers, and we got Vault with Unnatural Order. Check it out right now. Another episode of Will These Comics Make Good Film and Television Shows? Let's find out. Let's find out what's going on with Marvel and DC. Although this week I barely got any Marvel or any DC. I mostly got Independents because the Independents seem to be better books than the big two right now. I think the big two are pretty much floundering. So let's check out what we got, and we will talk about whether they will translate to the screen or not. And I am your host, Frank Zanca. I am an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer. In fact, we're going to be launching the late pledge for my Vampire Mob set in 1950s at the end of the month, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, we are going to talk about this, but give me the thumbs up if you can, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Let's start out with Green Lantern. This is written by a friend of mine, Jeremy Adams. We knew each other in LA before I moved out here. And truthfully, I'm confused about the whole thing about Hal using different color lantern rings. I must have missed something. And then he can make constructs that look like flesh and bone. So I'm a little confused about that as well. But I got to say, with issue 7, it does feel a lot more like a Green Lantern book than it had in the past. So this is more of a flashback issue where we get to see, how Kilowog died. Because in the last issue, it was revealed that he died and Hal blames himself. Now, Hal's going to blame himself no matter what. But we get to see, I'm really a fan of pretty much all these guys here, but we get to see Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz. I've never really been a big fan of. He was carrying a gun at one time. We got Guy Gardner. We got Kyle Rayner. And, of course, John Stewart, who I'm a big fan of as well, especially from the Justice League cartoons. So the Guardians of Oa, who were the little blue guys that were the ones that created everything. They were in the Green Lantern movie and all that. They no longer exist, apparently. So the United Planets, who is also in the Zod book, are now taking out over as the new Guardians, although they're not shrinking or becoming blue. But they look a little bit like Tamarinians, or whatever you want to call them, whatever, Korugar. That's where Sinestro's from, so they have this pink hue to them, so they remind me of Korugarians. And I am not a fan of this sector, null sector, whatever, Lantern. I know nothing about her. In fact, they even make a joke like, how many human lanterns do we have now? So I guess they're depleted because the Lantern Corps in general are depleted of people because of the fact that the battery has been destroyed. And they're trying to up their ranks now. And 2814, which is Earth, they're like, we don't need anybody over there. There's nothing going on over there. We need you guys more out in the rest of the galaxy. And they're all like, look, you don't want us to police our own planet? And they're like, no, we need you over there. If you have a problem with that, quit. So Hal is actually thinking about quitting, but he and Kilowog go on a mission together, and Kilowog's trying to talk him down like he always does. So they have to go to Sinestro's world, and Sinestro's on a throne. I like all this. Sinestro's on a throne, and they're asking him to join the United Planets. They're like, God, can you join the planets? And he's like, no. So they're sitting down and having dinner, and Hal's mouthing off, and the guy says, "Go sit in the car." "Go to your room, buddy. You're not acting professional." So he does, where he goes back to the ship, which is technically what he says. So not go back to your room. So it's Kilowog left to protect him, and Hal sees the Yellow Lanterns going to attack. So they team up together to fight these Yellow Lanterns, and they're attacking Sinestro, and Sinestro's like, what the hell's going on? And we got a nice little fight scene with Kilowog here. I've always been a fan of Kilowog. He is a badass, and there should be more alien. They keep adding more and more and more human characters when they should be adding more and more alien characters. It's definitely better for the action figure side, I would think. But he's like, "You're not going to overwhelm me, guys, because I'm better than you." He's kicking ass. And he's not having a good day. So they beat the crap out of him. They break the shield construct. He's got a whole bunch of arrows sticking out of him. And he's like, "Is that all you got? Is that all you got? Because I'm still here." So yeah, so I guess something blows up there, and I guess Kilowog takes the brunt of it. We don't know what happened to him, and Hal's telling that story to this guy that showed up, and he says, "It was that's why I'm here. The power battery on Odom has been destroyed." So, and the guy's name is Razor with a Razer. And that's the end of that. And then we go into the stupid backup story about Oliver Twist, that's Sinestro's son, and they're going to go into, and he was trying to get off planet to go see his father, because I guess his father doesn't know he exists, and nobody else does either. Nobody ever heard of Sinestro having a child. But anyway, he's got, he's a normal, they stole everything from Oliver Twist or whatever, where he's got to steal to survive, and he's with a whole bunch of other kids, and all the kids group up, and they beat the big guy, which I don't really buy, but there's that. So, whatever. And then they're going to be doing Sinister Sons #1, and I can give a shit less. I don't like Zod's kid, and I don't like this kid, though. It's not like it's Super Sons. So, yeah, I really wish they'd stop doing backup stories. It's a waste of $1 as far as I'm concerned. So, anyway, yeah, it's... I like this one. Definitely feels like a Green Lantern book. They're out on a mission. We don't get to see that very often. And we're seeing changes in the landscape of the Green Lantern Corps. And we get to see Hal and Kilowog together, which is always fun. And having Sinestro in there baiting him, that's really good too. So, yeah, I really like this. And I'm not sure if it's a good story yet, because I haven't, for film, I mean, for the whole thing with Sinestro is kind of, where he's looking for a ring, and he gets the, suddenly gets the powers of rage, which is a red ring, and I'm not sure if things actually work that way without a new ring coming to him. I don't think that rings can just change like that. So I'm not buying most of that. I did like the fact that he tried to start a war so that there would be fear, and that would power his ring. But again, I don't know if it works like that either. Why would you have power batteries if you could just have a whole bunch of people feeling fear to charge a ring? I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on. I really wish that we'd lay down some rules, because this is not following the rules that I know of. So I would love to see a new Green Lantern movie, without all the... As soon as I saw the CG body that Ryan Reynolds was in, and I'm like, ugh, why the hell did they go that route? Because the suit that he has in the comics is so much better than what they did with that CG crap. And they should never have done Parallax as the villain. That was a bad move, Jeremy Johns. All right, so let's move on to Sacrificers by Image Comics. This is Rick Remender. We're on to issue 6 now, and it's still going, which I'm really surprised. If it goes beyond 12, I don't know what. I can't. I don't understand why it would be going beyond 12. So in the last issue, so we have a pigeon that every family gives up a child, and I guess it's like every 10, 15 years or whatever it is. 12 years, because the kid is a teenager now, is sent to the capital or whatever to be sacrificed for the gods. And the gods are all, like, we have a sun god, we have the moon god, we have the harvest god. And I guess what they do is they need energy from people's brains, and they do that by sucking the brain juice out, but they treat the kids really well, kind of Willy Wonka style, so that they're happy when they're killed. And if they're not, then the fluid comes out yellow and it's not drinkable. And what that does is that it makes them young again, so it keeps them immortal. And then on top of that, the pigeon is spared at this point, who's the main character, but everybody else is killed. And then the thing that makes which we find it also is a pigeon, that makes this elixir, is pissed off because he doesn't get any kind of recognition from the sun god, who is the main god, and he's pissed off, and his daughter, not the pigeon's daughter, but the sun god's daughter, with sun and moon, their daughter together, follows him because she knows something's up, and she's kind of trying to make her bones because she's feeling ignored. And she gets her brain sucked out, right? And the moon goddess is the only one that does not take the elixir. She's like, she doesn't agree with what's going on, so she doesn't take it. And I guess she has a different group, as a group of her, because of all the waning moon. So yeah, so she's, whatever phase the moon is a different one that embodies that. And her husband there is not having any of it, and he's pissed off with her, and things get ugly. And then on top of that, he knows they can't find the daughter. And the daughter, see, this is because the last issue really surprised me when I found that they killed her, but they didn't kill her. And I really wish they had, because now it goes back to exactly what I thought it was, where the pigeon and the daughter were going to team up. I kind of knew that was going to happen, and now it is. Because the last issue really subverted my expectation, and now it's kind of going back to exactly what I thought. But anyway, so there's a whole bunch of the pipes are all leaking and stuff like that, and then we find out that the pigeon guy's actually in the pipe, and he comes out. And when he does, the yellow goo of her fear falls on him. So her power as a god was in that elixir, and it falls on him. So now he has powers. Okay. And she's like, help me, help me. And so he doesn't know that he's got these powers, and the other guy is attacking him, and he's evading that guy, and they escape through, I guess, the garbage chute, and they find all of his dead friends that were also sacrifices. So now he's pissed off, and the guy sends out these, I guess, mutant creatures to go kill them, and then we switch over. We switch scenes back to Moon and Sun, and they're arguing about whose turn it is. I thought that was pretty fun. So anyway, she pisses him off completely, and he destroys all of her duplicates or whatever, and she still doesn't stop. So he kills her as well. And there's literally nothing left of her. And meanwhile, the daughter is screaming, "Mommy, mommy," throughout this whole thing, seeing, because I guess they're omnipotent. So she's trying to see if she would hear her. And she realizes that the moon, so she's calling, "Help me, help me," and then the moon disappears. And she's like, "You don't understand. The moon is gone. My mom is gone." And he's like, "Look, I don't care, because you're part of this whole system that killed my friends. And you didn't help them. So why the hell am I helping you?" And then he realizes that he has these powers, and he starts killing them all. He starts just destroying them. And she's like, "You have my power. Give it back." And we basically see this basically a Hulk situation going on. And that's when she gets pissed off and says, "But you got my power. Give it back." And he's like, "Hell no, I ain't giving you shit." And he grabs her arms and just tosses her aside and then walks away from her. And we get this nice shot through the trees of him just walking away. So, but my comic shop said there was no solicitation for 7 yet. So I don't know. I don't know if they're just taking a break and because they only had up to 6 done, and now we have to wait a few months before the next one. I don't know. But it's funny that there's no solicitation for it right now. But yeah, it's we make a good film. Yeah, of course, as I say in all of my reviews of this particular book, that it as a live action, there would be way too much CGI because you'd have to CGI every single character. So it would be better as an animated. An animated piece would be far better for this, but of course it would be dull because it's very, very dark when you're dealing with killing children, even teenagers, even if they're aliens. Some of them are not aliens. Some of them are human, by the way. They look human anyway. So yeah, it's interesting, and I think that it would make it's definitely compelling, and it's different, and but all the gods and everything like that, it would have to be animated. It's the only way, because almost every single character, like I said, there was a few humans, but not many. All right, so let's go on to Unnatural Order. Okay, so this is by Vault, and this is Christopher Yost. So for the first issue, it was very interesting. They did something very different, and they decided just to give it away. So they gave away the issue to anybody who wanted it. And I think there was like 20, 30,000 issues they just gave to stores. And on top of that, I didn't see any sitting on the shelf, so I assumed everybody got it. But now that everybody read it, I don't know, because a lot of people, when they get free books, they don't even read it because they don't feel like they paid for it, so they have no obligation to read it. They just get it just in case, and a lot of people don't read it. So I don't know how well this book is doing. I don't know if that marketing actually worked for this. But I read it, and I liked it. I liked it a lot, and it's $4.99 for 40 pages, which is a whole lot different than Marvel and DC. That's $4.99 for 20 pages. So, and I really think that if Marvel and DC are going to do $4.99, they need to up the page count. So, but they're not doing any of that. Basically, I feel like they're stealing money. They didn't even bother going from $3.99 to $4.50. They went straight whole dollar. And giving us backup stories is not the way to do it, because I feel like that's stealing too, because I didn't ask for that backup story. And most of the time, 90% of the time, they're not even good. So at the end of the last issue, they were searching for this Eodec character that's like godlike. And they were trying to find his thing, because I guess he's kind of evil. And I guess he can destroy the world or whatever. And they were trying to stop him, so they had a group together that's led like a Roman. But so it felt very D&D, because there was a group of all different things, like one looked like a Viking, one looked like a barbarian, one looked like a Roman. So it was like a very eclectic group that was on this quest. And at the very end, they are looking for, I guess the team kind of divides up. One's looking for Eodec, and the other group is looking for the guy that Eodek fears. And when they find him, we find out it's an army guy, and he says, "What's going on with your, Renaissance fuckers or whatever, something like that?" He's like, "What's up with you guys?" So whenever he says Renaissance, you know that he's from today's time, and so we have like a mixture of genres. So, what they really need to do is do a page like the inside cover should just give me a little blurb to catch me up, because since it's 40 pages, it takes a little bit longer to put these books out. But at least give me a recap, because I didn't remember anything. So we start out, with the army side. And I'm like, what's going on? Because I totally forgot about the last page. And the artwork is decent. And we get to meet Murphy here, who, again, at this point in time when I was reading the book, I had no idea who this guy was. I remember us being in like this medieval type of deal. Why am I reading about an army guy? And then I remembered that was the ending, and now we're seeing his side of the story. But I guess Eodek was, they're seeing footage of him just wiping people out without even touching them. And they're sent after him. And I guess his wife is about to have a baby, and they're in the helicopter, and the helicopter gets attacked by all of these creatures, and the pilot bites it. So the pilot bites it, and these aliens or whatever, these creatures come out and attack it, and the whole thing goes down. But we don't even see them buckled in or anything like that. I really wish we had seen some of that, because some of them die and some of them live. But some of them are completely unscathed out of a complete wreckage. So I'm not really buying that, but okay, so we'll move on. So they're in Switzerland, and then we get to see this other creature attacks them, which is actually kind of cool looking. So again, we have a mixture of genres. So we're seeing, and they attack the creature and kill it. And I'm like, all right, when are we gonna ever see the other world? But anyway, they keep going, and they see Eodek, who is, I guess, feeding off whatever nuclear energy, etc. And I think Eodok's a weird word too. It just looks strange, even when you see it typed with that. It just looks weird. So he's like, they're like, take him down. He's like, you can try, but I'm feeling real good here, man. So of course, all the bullets don't even go near him. He does like a Neo situation here and stops all the bullets. And he, I guess with the amount of power, he changes the world. But Murphy is able to stab him in the back as he's changing the world. So again, now they fall and they're in the other world. So everything that he changed, because now there's the barbarian. Now we're back in the other issue. And there's the Viking girl who then stabs him. And he's like, I just got stabbed with a spear. He's like, what is going on here? At least fucking shoot me. So they get attacked by a whole bunch of creatures, and that face is pretty good. The artwork's all right. I mean, it's not very detailed, but it works. So anyway, they fend off these creatures, and Eodek comes out of the ground. He's looking kind of gnarly. He's like, I just need some moisturizer. But he comes in and out of the ground. So the rest of the team shows up, and they fend off the rest of the creatures, and the barbarian guy is not liking Murphy at all, so they're not getting it out. But the girl is like, and I can't even say the girl's name. It's like Agreed or whatever else. That's very strange. I am as Eadgyd. I'd good. I don't know how to say that. I wish that they wouldn't use things that you can't say. Eat good. And then they realize they're on the same team, and she realizes too that he saved her life, and they heal him. And they talk about Eodoc, and he realizes that Eodoc changed the entire world because there's literally two suns. And they're like, whoa, don't get too close to the water there because it's dangerous. And these creatures come out of the water and whatever. They're like, we told you, man, let's run. Let's get the hell out. And Eodoc shows up and tries to kill him. But he's like, wow, you have some kind of magical ward on you that prevents me from killing you, although he does hurt him quite a bit with the nails. But the rest, like I said, the rest of the team shows up, and the magic user or whatever, makes him flee, and they wipe out the rest of the baddies. There's the Roman dude who I think is the leader, and they're like, we need to know no more about you because the magic user immediately senses that he has a ward on him. And they team up, and I'm liking this a lot. It's very, very different. I love mashups of genre. I think this really works with this fish out of water type of thing where we have this marine or whatever alien style, aliens, where we had this mashup of marines with aliens. And now I'm kind of getting that same kind of vibe, except it's in a medieval world, which is also a mashup because we have Romans and Vikings and all this stuff all mashed together. And we find out that Eodoc is the one that kind of meshed this all together. So it makes sense that everything's all kind of a mishmash. And I'm waiting to see where this goes. So I finally get a villain in here. We get a hero in here. We're seeing how the team all goes together. I think the writing's pretty decent. I like how it's all getting pushed together, and it's not easy to do. So, I recommend this book. If you're not reading it, if you like what my recap of it, then definitely pick it up because, Vault can use all the help they can get being an independent. So let's go ahead and recap. Unnatural Order. Yeah, liking it. Sacrificers, also a good book, but would need to be an animated series. And Green Lantern would make a great movie if they did it correctly. And I'm not so sure about this story yet, and I really wish that Jeremy would hone in the rules, because I think the rules are all over the place right now. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, give me the thumbs up. Give me the middle finger. And if you haven't subscribed, why the hell not? We do movie reviews, comic book reviews, and we do board games and card games. And talking about that, remember, at the end of the month, Lords of LA will have Late Pledge, and Mark Spears and I are working on a card game with classic monsters, and it's going to be a deck builder and area control if you're into board games and card games. I'm excited about that. We've been play testing, and I am building out the Kickstarter for that right now. So stay tuned for that, and thank you again so much for watching. Check out some of my other videos right now as well, and I'll see you again on